Ooh, what's going on, Raider Nation? Another loss for the Raiders. 2018. We're now 1-4. Los Angeles Chargers. Well, they beat the crap out of us. Let's just say that. So I kind of make this video short. I just want to give a couple of quick thoughts on the game, and hopefully next week it's better, and hopefully that can bring us some more energy. I know after last week the game was such a good game, and we were like finally thought something was going to start happening this year. And then the Chargers just wiped the floor with us. But I think if you look at this game, it was a winnable game. And I think the reason we lost comes down to a few things. The turnovers are what killed us. -2 turnovers. The Chargers didn't turn over at all. Obviously, that's huge. But there are some key plays in this game, and it's big plays. They kill us on big plays. Let's be honest, guys. Again, lack of tackling, the lack of awareness as to where you need to go. Like, it bugs me when I see guys like take inside routes when all they need to do, or I should say take outside routes when all they need to do is keep them to the inside or keep them to the outside. For instance, like if you're right near the goal line, if you're right near the the goal, well, I shouldn't say the goal line, the boundary, like the out of bounds marker, the sideline. If you're right near the sideline, you're running up, you want to push the guy towards the sideline, not away from it. And that's what it bugs me. It's like, why are you going to take away the sideline from the guy? You need to be on the opposite side, pushing him towards the sideline. Because if you got guys behind you, or if you can even just simply make him, off balance, he'll step out of bounds. On this play, and it might have been the other big play. There's two big plays, and both of them were kind of the same. They were up the sideline, and it's like all you need to do is push the guy out of bounds, and it's a 20-yard gain instead of a 50 or 60-yard touchdown. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the one here where it's just a quick screen, and all you need to do, push him to the outside. Like, why are you taking the outside route? It bugs me so much. All you need to do is take the inside route, push him, and it's a botched snap. Like, this was a play that was dead. Push him to the outside, like Whitehead. Why are you, like, there's two guys. Oh my God, like this play just bugs me so much because there's two players. Like, look at this. See Whitehead, and see these two players? What you should be doing is one should be pushing you to the outside, Whitehead. He should be taking the inside route and pushing him to the outside, and the guy in 20 should be taking the outside route and ensuring that he just goes out of bounds. Done. It's a 20-yard gain or a 10-yard, 15-yard gain instead of a touchdown. And it bugs me because this is what kills us this game. This play killed us. This was, it was 3-3 before this play. And now the next play here is an even bigger killer. This play even killed us more because we were moving, we were driving, and we had a chance to get back in this game, and then bam, fumble, Martavis Bryant. And really, like, what do we want? What can we attribute this to? What I want to attribute it to is, why do we constantly keep relying on Martavis Bryant as a slot receiver to take these long passes? We saw him drop one last week that would have been a touchdown in Cleveland, against Cleveland. It bugs me because it makes me think that John Gruden doesn't have faith in Cooper, or doesn't have faith in Carr or Lynch. Like, for instance, when we're on the 1-yard line, and we have like a 4th and 1, and we choose, or a 1st and 1, and we don't even run it. Well, we're gonna go with Carr on a rollout so he can throw an interception. That's what we're gonna do. And what bugs me is we had another play later on where we scored the touchdown, and we did a quick screen pass on a 1st and 1, like because they stacked the box thinking you're gonna run it, and you throw a quick. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful play call. Why are we not doing that when it's a tie game, or when it's 10-3, and we need the score? We need to get in. We need to score, and then I guess not 10-3 because it was 17 when it was 17-3, and we were on the 1-yard line and gonna punch it in. And instead of essentially doing a play that's gonna be an easy completion and touchdown, or even if he gets sacked or tackled, well, then whatever. But the risk of throwing it into the end zone in a situation where you essentially have no I don't even know where this was, guys. Sorry, I can't find where it was. exactly. Um, I'm pretty sure it was like right around here where, maybe not. All right. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because honestly, it was where we were on the 1 yard line and we tried to do a rollout with Carr and we threw it interception Melvin Ingram, and it was simply just a bad play call. Like in my mind, it's a bad play call because if you have Carr rolling out from the shock or from the play action, you need to have a receiver rolling out with him, and that's the only receiver he should be targeting. He should be throwing it away from him, just like he did Jared Cook in the other game, and that's a perfect play call because you know what? Even if he doesn't catch it, it goes out of bounds. No, there's no chance of an interception, and it just bugs me that we're putting these risky instead of, or why don't you just give it to Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line? Like, haven't you learned, John Gruden, yet that the only way you're gonna, you know, make us satisfied is if you just give it to Lynch? Like, fuck it, man. Even if it's 1st and 10 from the, or 1st and goal from the 10, give it to Lynch 3 times. I don't care because you know what? He'll get in. He'll get you those 10 yards, man. You don't seem to have faith that he can, but he will, and he's proven it again and again that he can do it. Having like 40 rushing yards this game, I think it was, is pathetic. It's pathetic. And it has to do with play calling. It really does. Like, it just bugs me that all we want to do is run it up the middle. We don't, like the last week against Cleveland, we had the quick, toss to Lynch goes for 50 yards. And then we don't call anything. We don't do any screens, no quick, side passes or tosses to give Lynch the open field. And that's another thing. It's like when we're on the goal line, we need to stop running up the middle and start running it to the sides with Lynch. Because if you run it to the sides, then he can get by 1 or 2 tackles or a friggin' corner trying to stop him or a safety, a middle linebacker. He can knock those people out of the way if he's going up the sides. But when you push up the middle and he's got to deal with offensive or defensive linemen, come on, it just bugs me. But I think one of the biggest problems in this game comes down to not only play calling, because it just seemed like we were just flat. Like every time we get the ball, and it was field position. We had terrible field position in this game. A lot of times we had field position where we were like, in our end zone or at the 5 yard line or the 10 yard line. But the thing that bugs me the most is that like he refused to go with quick screen passes and quick, like Philip Rivers were doing these quick screen passes all day. Like what? Like watch this pass here, like I shouldn't say quick screen passes, but just I don't know, just smart routes, like short routes, 10 yard routes. I don't know. It just seemed like every time we were down, we kept trying to either go deep or we kept going with these like shitty running plays. They're like trying to give a screen pass to Doug Martin on 2nd and 10. Like why is Doug Martin even in the game? And that's the problem I have with certain guys. Why is Martavis Bryant in the game, taking these shots at the middle when it should be Coop and he wouldn't be fumbling the ball, you know? And that takes me back to what I was saying a few weeks ago, where I think John Gruden refuses to acknowledge the talent of a lot of the guys that Reggie McKenzie drafted, or a lot of the guys that came in before Gruden. And Gruden wants to rely on like his guys. He wants to give it to Keith Smith on the 1 yard line, or throw it to Keith Smith when it's 4th and down. He wants to run it with Keith Smith on the goal line. He wants to give it to Doug Martin on 3rd down instead of Lynch. He wants to. It's just little things like that, or like he wants to throw it to Martavis Bryant up the middle. He wants to throw it to Martavis Bryant in the end zone, where he drops it instead of going with Coop, right, or Nelson. Like it just bugs me, and then he'll be like, oh, we need to have mismatches. It's like, okay, but when you have guys that just, I don't know, just seem to not be performing, they don't run the routes correctly. They're causing interceptions. They're causing plays. Like if you look at the last couple weeks, like a lot of those interceptions in the end zone, Carr was throwing into Martavis Bryant, and they're all Carr's fault. I'm not trying to blame it on anybody else, but it just seems like there's no connection there, and I don't understand why we can't just run with Roberts, Cooper, and Nelson as our, like Roberts has more touchdowns other than Michael Crabtree in the last 3 or 4 years than any other Raider. Like, why are we not relying on Roberts in the red zone? Why are we not relying on Cooper for slants and for quick screens like we did last year? Like it just bugs me that the play calling, and just like every time it seems we're trying to play catch up instead of just kicking them in the teeth. Like the first couple weeks, it just seemed like we were doing a lot of throws up the middle. We just kept hitting Cook. We kept hitting Cooper in the middle, up the middle of the field. Nelson up the middle, and that's where we were getting our success. Like it just bugs me. Like I didn't see hardly any throws up the middle. There were hardly any throws to Cook up the middle. Like, and they're like, oh, the linebackers. So their linebackers are not that good. Like the Chargers, they were actually, their defense was without Bosa. They didn't have the defense they had last year that stonewalled us every game. Like, it just bugs me the fact that we could have won this game. We should have won this game. And the reasons we lost are not necessarily because our players played bad. I think Carr did play a terrible game, but I think it has a lot to do with play calling. You have to put your players in the right positions to win. And if you're not giving them those chances, and when we're down in the end zone and you're just running 3 quick plays that are like, oh, quick screen pass, run with Lynch, quick screen pass, and like, you need to throw it up the middle of the Cook a couple times, get Derek Carr going, get him, get his juices flowing, and get his precision on point, and then he'll start to show you success. But if you just get into this rut where you're like, oh, we drop a pass and then we try to run and then we just give up on third down where we do this this shitty quick, or we don't even get it off because for some reason we don't have a quick route, like a quick screen route or a quick slant route where he can just dump it off to Cooper real quick for a 5-yard gain, and maybe he'll take it for 10 like he's shown he can do consistently. It just bugs me that we're not trying to do this, and we're just trying to rely on either Lynch to get us 10 yards on first down, or for us to go third down and then to try and do some stupid little pass that we get sacked because we don't have what's a good. It bugged me in this game because there was like 3 or 4 times, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, guys, but I'm just frustrated, and there's not much for me to say because this whole game it was just like a complete frustration, you know. But one of the biggest things I think is when you see kind of the way we played and on so many times on third down, 3rd and 3, we'd have these tiny gains. We only need 3 yards, and we wouldn't give it to Lynch. We try and throw it with Carr, and he'd get sacked. And this was consistently, and it's like, and what bugs me is not the fact that we choose to throw it. It's fine. If you want to go with Carr, it's fine. But it needs to be a quick 3-yard pass that's immediate. That he doesn't hold it for more than a second and a half, and it's out of his hand. And it's drop back to throw it. There's no chance for it, and that's what Phillip Rivers was doing all day. Like it just bugs me when I can look across and see the other team doing what we should be doing and doing what our team is built to do. And then our play calling is just like, oh, we're just gonna do this and try and throw it to Doug Martin in the back, which is like, who the fuck, sorry for the swearing, guys. It bugs me because it's like Gruden wants to run all his plays, and he doesn't want to utilize the plays that work for us. Like in the past couple weeks, he doesn't want to look at his games and look at what's been successful, what play calls have been successful, play calls have not been successful, and learn from that. Or at least he comes up with these schemes that he thinks are so successful, and they are, and they have been they have worked well. But the problem is that he needs to be consistently just learning how to move the ball and how to encourage his players to play on every down and get his defense to just make a few stops here and there instead of trying to, I don't know, rely on all his guys. Go to all his guys when it's 4th down. Go to Keith Smith. Go to Doug Martin. Go to Martavis Bryant instead of going to Coop, Nelson, and Marshawn Lynch. Like, these are the things that I don't understand, and that's what I think is what's hurting this team, is that we're not utilizing the talent we have, and we're trying to build on play all these niche plays and these trick plays in instances where we don't need to. In times of the game where all we need to do is just simply throw the ball with Carr to Cook up the middle or Cooper up the middle, and just keep utilizing the middle linebackers and keep exposing them. Because I'm telling you right now, there are no middle linebackers in the league that can cover Jared Cook or Amari Cooper up the middle of the field, and even Jordy Nelson for that matter. There aren't. There just aren't. And the fact that we don't utilize those misadvantages shows that Gruden isn't the best understander or developer of game plans, and he himself shows flaws in that, and that he refuses to kind of utilize what works for other teams, and what seemingly like why is Gronkowski one of the best players, and why does he have why are they win when he's healthy? It's because he is the blanket. He's who you go to when you need, and Brady always utilizes it. Why? And that's why they're successful. Jared Cook is Derek Carr's safety blanket. They need him. And the weeks we won, guess what? He had over 100 yards, or that's the one week we won. But every other week where we were successful, he had tons of yards. This week, nothing, because they didn't just. And it's just like I said, you have to, in order to get these players involved, you need to throw them the ball. And if you're not calling plays where they don't get the ball, then how are they supposed to win? So, in short, guys, get the ball to our playmakers and stop trying to trick ourselves and trick the other team. Anyway, we'll see how it goes next week, guys. I see football out. Have a good week. Happy Thanksgiving.